Hello, Rob. We're back with Tamar from Robinson Jeffers, 1924 narrative poem. This is section 7, or part 7, the second section. That one light in the room, the lamp on the sill, did not turn redder for blood nor with the whip stripe, but some. Jesus. Let's start over. That one light in the room, the lamp on the sill, did not turn redder for blood nor with the wind stripe, but shone serene and innocent up the northward night, riding a long pale golden track in the river's arm of sea, and beyond the river's mouth where the old lion's teeth of blunted granite crop out of the headland, young Will Andrews kissed it with his eyes, rode south, and crossed the river's late summer sand lock. Figures of fire moved in the hills on the left, the pasture fires and brush fires men kindled before rain. On a southerly wind, the smell of the smoke reached him. The sea on his right breathed. When he skirted the darkness of the gum tree grove at San Jose Creek mouth, he remembered Verdugo killed there. Sylvia Vieira and her man had lived in the little whitewashed farm hut under the surf reverberant blue gums. 2 years ago, they had had much wine in the house. Their friend Verdugo came a-visiting, he being drunk on the raw plenty of wine they thought abused 9-year-old Mary, Sylvia's daughter. They struck him from behind, and when he was down, unmanned him with the kitchen knife, then plotted drunkenly, for he seemed to be dead, where to dispose the body. That evening, Tamar Caldwell, riding her white pony along the coast road, saw a great bonfire periling the gum tree grove, and riding under the smoke met evil odors. Turning in there, saw by the firelight a man's feet hang out of the fire. Then Tamar, never having suffered fear in her life, knocked at the hut's door and unanswered entered, and found the Vieiras asleep, steaming away their wine, but little Mary weeping. She had taken the child and ridden homeward. Young Andrews, thinking of that idol of the country, gulped at the smoke from the hills and tethered his horse in the hiding of a clump of pines and climbed the line fence. Turning the cypress thicket, he saw a figure sway in the starlight and stood still, breathless. A woman? Tamar? Not Tamar. No one he knew. It faced the east gables of the house and seemed twisting its hands, and suddenly flung up both arms to its face and passed out of the patch of starlight. The boy, troubled and cautious, turned the other way, and circling to the south face of the house, peered from behind the buttressed base of a 70-year-old trunk. That yellow light on the other side glowed. Then he saw a lamp on the table and 3 people sitting by it. The old man, stiff-jointed as a corpse, grotesquely erect, and old Aunt Stella, her lips continually in motion, and old Ginny, cross-legged, having drawn up her ankles into her chair, nodding asleep. At length Aunt Stella ceased talking. None of the 3 stirred. Young Andrews backed into the wood, and warily finishing his circuit, stood in the darkness under Tamar's window. The strong young tree to help him to it still wore on its boughs near her lamplight. Then he climbed and set his hands on the sill, his feet on the ledge under it, and Tamar came to the window and took up the lamp to let him enter. Her face, white in the yellow lamp's glow, with sharp shadows under the eyes, and a high look of joy he had never seen there, frightened him, and she said, "I have been sick, you know." "I heard," he answered. "Oh, Tamar, I have been lonely. We must let them know. We can't go on. My place is with you when you most need me." "We will tell them tonight," she said, and kissed his mouth and called, "Lee, Lee, come." "He has come." "What? Now?" he said. "I have told Lee. I was sick. He was sorry for me. He is going to camp tomorrow. He wants to see you and say goodbye." Lee entered while she spoke and quietly held out his hand, and Andrews took it. "Talk to each other," Tamar said. "I am very tired and must lie down." Lee muttered, "She's been awfully sick. It scared us. You were lucky, Bill Andrews, not to be here." "I didn't think so," he answered. "What was it, Lee?" Well, it's all over, Lee said, shifting his feet. I'm off tomorrow. I'm glad we're friends to say goodbye. Be good to her, won't you? And the other, oh, God knows I will. All I can do. But of course, Lee, if they need me, she knows I won't beg of off because I'm married. Maybe I'll see you over there. Oh, said Tamar, laughing, you too? And she sat up on the bed, saying, Lee, go and call father if he's able. We ought to tell him he ought to meet my husband. I'll see if he can, Lee answered. He was unwell today, and if he's in bed. He left the room, then Tamar, look, bring the lamp. What Lee did to me. She opened the blue robe and bared her flank and thigh, showing the long whip mark. I have a story. You must see this to believe it. He turned giddy, the sweet slenderness dazzling him, and the lamp shook in his hand for the sharp spasm of physical pain one feels at sight of a wound shot up his entrails. That long welt of red on the tender flesh, the blood flecks and tortured, broken little channels of blood crossing it. Tamar, Tamar, put down the lamp, and when they come, I'll tell you the story. What shall I do? Why, nothing, nothing, poor boy, she said, pityingly. I think you are too glad of your life to have come into this house. You are not hard enough. You are like my mother. Only stone or fire should marry into this house. Then he, bewildered, looking at the blackened doorframe. Why, yes, laughed Tamar. It is here. It has been here. The bridegroom's here already. Oh, Will, I have suffered. Things I daren't tell. What do you mean, Tamar? Nothing. I mustn't tell you. You are too high-tempered. You would do something. Dear, there are things so wicked that nothing you can do can make them better. So horrible now they are done that even to touch or try to mend or punish them is only to widen horror, like poking at a corpse in a pool. And father's old and helpless. Your father, Tamar? And not to blame. I think he hardly even knew what Lee, this much I'll tell you. You have to know it. Our love, your love, and mine had fruit would have been fruitful. We were going to have a child, and I was happy and frightened, and it is dead. Oh God, oh God, oh God, I wish I too had been born too soon, and died with the eyes unopened. Not a cry, darkness, darkness, and to be hidden away. They did it to me, with other abuse, worse violence. Meanwhile, Lee Caldwell finding his father with the two old women in the room downstairs. Father, he said, Tamar was asking for you. And Helen's voice through old Aunt Stella answered, she has enough. Tell her she has enough, Aunt Stella, he said. How long will you keep it up? Our trouble's clearing. Let your ghost be. She has you and the other, she answered. Let me have this one. Are we buzzards to quarrel over your dead, we ghosts? Then Lee, turning the shoulder at her, you must come up, father. Do you remember the Andrews place? That's up the valley. Young Andrews is upstairs with Tamar. He wants to marry her. You know I have to go away tomorrow, remember? And I'll go happier to leave her, taken care of. So you'll see him, father. Who is it? Asked the old man. The bridegroom, said Helen's voice. A bridegroom for your Tamar, and the priest will be fire and blood, the witness. And they will live together in a house where the mice are moles. Why do you plague me? He answered plaintively. And Lee, come, father, and he lifting his face. I have prayed to the hills to come and cover me. We are on the drop-off cliff of the world, and dare not meet him. I with 2 days to live, even I shall watch the ocean boiling, and the sea curl up like paper in a fire, and the dry bed crack to the bottom. I have gone. I have good news for her. I will see her, and I to tell her she may take 2, but not 3, said Helen. Stay here, stay here. Be quiet, Lee answered angrily. Can I take up the whole menagerie? Raving. He turned in the door and heard his father move behind him and said, if you come up, be quiet, and at the door upstairs, father is tired and sick. He'll only speak to you, Andrews, and must go to bed. He's worried about my going away tomorrow. This is Bill Andrews, father, and tomorrow coming to the door. Let him come in. It's dark here. No, bring him in. Father, come in. What shall the men that made your war suck up their millions? Not I, my 3. Then Andrews, If Tamar is well enough to go tonight, I will take her tonight. You will be well when you are out of this house. You hate it still, said Tamar. He hates the house, she said to Lee, leading his eyes with the significance in hers to the blackened doorframe. Well, I will go with you tomorrow. And Lee, listen, Will Andrews, I heard from somebody you know who set the fire here. No, not that, he answered, but I know other worse things that have been done here. Fire, fire, moaned the old man, the fire of the Lord coming in judgment. Tamar, it is well with us. Be happy. He won't torture the wicked. He will rub them out and suddenly with instant fire. We shall be nothing. Come, Tamar, Andrews cried. Tonight, I daren't leave you. For fear I ask her, said Lee. You did it then. You set the fire? No, that's too idiot a lie to answer. He said, What do I know about your fires? I know something worse than arson, and saw the horrible new scar of a whip not to be paid. This way? He felt the jerk of his arm striking and his fist hitting the sharp edge of the jawbone. But yet, when Lee staggered and closed in with a groan, clutching him, fumbling for his throat, Will thought, What a fool to make a nasty show of us before Tamar and the others. Why does he want to fight? And indignantly pushed him off and struck twice, both fists. Lee dropped and scrambled on hands and knees by the little table. Then the old man cried, We shall be nothing, nothing. Oh, but that's frightful. And Will, turning to Tamar, saw such hatred wrinkle her face, he felt a horrible surge of nausea in him. Then, with bare teeth, she smiled at him, and he believed the hate was for her brother, and said, Ah, Tamar, come. Meanwhile, the Helen that spoke out of the lungs and ran in the nerves of old Aunt Stella caught the old man David Caldwell by the loose flapping sleeve and the lean arm, saying in a clotted, amorous voice, Come, David, my brother, my lover, oh, honey, come. She has no eyes for you. She feasts on young men. But you to me, are as beautiful as when we dared desperate pleasure, naked ages ago in the room and by the sea. Father, said Tamar, it is only an hour to the end. Whom do you want tonight? Stay here by me. I was hunting for something, said Lee Caldwell. Here it is, and had the sheath knife bared and struck up from the floor, rising. The blade ripped cloth and skin along his enemy's belly, and the leather belt catching it deflected the point into the bowels. Andrews coughed and fell backward, and Lee, falling across him, stabbed at his throat, but struck too high and opened the right cheek, the knife scraping on bone and teeth. Then Tamar, in a seagull voice, I dreamed it in his face. I dreamed a teacut in his face. You and your dreams have done for us, Lee groaned. Answer, Ack, all blood, blood. What did you say to make him hit me? That's a weird place to cut off the section. But we've only got 3 pages left, and I will finish it up in the next poem. Or part, section, video. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Don't listen to me. Goodbye, Brabs. Goodbye.